Okay, this is take 2. Alright, so in the first video, I starting off again, so with some housekeeping. Sorry about the low light. I literally have one shade up and have light radiating off the screen from my laptop in order to light this up as much as possible. I also didn't know that I was doing this, and because of that, I didn't bring down my mic, so please forgive any background noise you may hear. I had posted in what will be at this point yesterday's short that yesterday when I was actually up in my normal space, I was not being left alone by any means or measure. The entire day, if I went upstairs, so did she. If I came downstairs, so did she. If I was up in that space, she kept barging in the room and interrupting. By the time I had any sort of peace and quiet to lower my stress level and decompress that I could have even potentially recorded, I was exhausted. I was mentally, emotionally, physically exhausted. And she doesn't know that I've resumed recording content, and that is very intentional. Okay? And I'm not going to tell her. So, aside from all of that, I wanted to make a video about honoring the in-between. And honoring your life's path, even when it's hard and scary. Because it can be. Sorry, I think that's the cushion. Sorry, no. Neurospicy. Yeah, it's a cushion. On the sofa. Over the past few weeks, I have been so hyper fixated and hyper focused on getting training done for the field in which I'll be an independent contractor, but able to make a regular paycheck, I guess you could say, and getting the training done for that field. And I know I'm being very vague, but I have to be for a multitude of reasons. Some of which I don't really feel I can speak on right now, so please forgive me on that, but just know I've been noticing certain patterns, and I've noticed that when I say a little too, am very forthright and honest and open about everything, that things seem to hit the fan for me. So I am keeping things vague for now. You can come up. You can come up. Sorry, my cat is next to me and my dog wants to jump up on the sofa with me. She's very stressed at the moment. Yesterday was a bad day. She does not like the rain. She does not like the wind. She does not like any sudden popping noises. She farted. Rude. How can you tell a video is unscripted? I'm gonna leave it in. I don't care. Oh, crap. Ugh. That was rude. Alright. Anyway, anyway, and yesterday it was raining all day, so she was not a happy camper, and I medicated her as much as I could, and she's due for her morning doses of things, but I haven't gotten out there yet. And when I was, she was content to just lay where she was. She wasn't coming, so. Anyway, I'll get there eventually. But in the past few weeks, I've noticed that I have lost sight of the fact that this role, this training, this work that I'm to do to earn a more regular paycheck, even if it's not I don't know the word for it. It can fluctuate. It's not necessarily identifiable how much I'll make each week. It really will vary from job to job. But in week to week. But I've been so hyper-focused and hyper-fixated on getting the training done for that I lost sight of the fact that this is also supposed to be a time where I am working on developing skills that are more in line with the things that I'm meant to do, not just for my own mental, emotional well-being, but things that I'm meant to put out into the world. And while this channel is in part one of those things, it's definitely not the whole. And another thing I've been doing during this in-between time is I've been learning more about things I've been interested in a lot in my life, but have never really had the time or ability to really delve into them. And one of those things has been astrology. I've been learning from a number of different sources, aspects of your astrology. And as somebody who has in the past given their chart to people who have now turned against them, I see ways that your chart can be weaponized against you. And anyway, I know a lot of people hear astrology and they go, oh, brother. But astrology, and I'm speaking on this from, yes, I am very spiritual, but I am also very much a science girl. All right? I have been in the sciences for really my entire life in one way or another, because I'm fascinated about the realities of our world, and I'm fascinated about the potential that's there, not only to help us live more in line with the world itself in a more environmentally friendly and sustainable way, but also in the sense of being less harmful to it. And I feel that, and I have always felt that one of the best ways we can learn about our world, learn about ways we can live with our environment, is to learn as much as we can about it, about the beings that we share space with, about the plants, the animals, the insects. I have been in the sciences since I was a very small child, and I was obsessed with sharks as a child, and I was obsessed with learning about dinosaurs and how extinction happens, and ways that, barring a cosmological event hitting the planet, that we can help prevent and mitigate, extinction events, if that makes sense. I know I'm not so egotistical as to think that we can or are in control of our environment. I am aware that our environment and the planet in general has been a organism in and of itself a lot longer than we have existed. But I also recognize that there are aspects of this world that science has yet to truly examine or define. And some of those aspects that I have been consciously aware of that science is only starting to catch up to is that just because something doesn't have a nervous system like animals, humans do, does not mean that they are not able to communicate, and does not mean that they don't feel. I've been very aware of the intelligence of plants, and yes, I am very spiritual, and the root of all world religions is animism. Animism is actually the original spirituality, and that is the belief in more than ourselves, and the belief that there is spirit in everything. All right. Does not matter the religion that you follow. Does not matter the spirituality you align yourself with. That is the root, fundamental belief in every single religion and spirituality worldwide. Because without animism and the belief in something more than yourself, you would have no God or gods or spirits or anything else. So, moving through that, astrology, I have come to realize, is very scientific at its root. Astrology is basically a science that has been diminished and poo-pooed by a lot of powerful people for a very long time, mainly because they've been using it themselves to benefit themselves, and they didn't want other people to benefit from the same thing that they were. Astrology is basically statistical analysis. It looks at the way that astronomy, so the alignment of stars and planets in our system, can be indicators of real-world events. So it's literally a study of history, and it's also very literally a study of how different stars can align and have aligned during those events. So we can use, she's kind of deaf, so she doesn't recognize how loud she is. So she's old, but she's a sweetheart. She's just very loud. But yeah, it's just tracking how planets and stars align during major events and keeping track of that over time. So it's a study of what was in an effort to I don't like to use the word predict, because I don't really see it as a predictive thing, but more along the lines of a guide. Like, these events happen during this particular alignment of planets and stars, so we shouldn't be too surprised if similar type events happen when those alignments happen again. So I've been learning more about that. I've been learning more about things that have been within me to learn, or part of me to some degree, that I just haven't had the time to really focus in and really develop skills that align with those things. Again, I am sorry I'm being very vague. Things will make more sense with time. They will. I cannot speak on everything now because things are in the works. I said in a video some time ago that one thing I decided I wasn't going to do anymore was talk about things I was working on while I'm working on them, and I would only speak about things after I'd successfully pulled them off. And let's just say that I have noticed sabotaging energies outside, and I'm not like manifesting this for myself. One thing I'm learning more about is different ways to combat certain things, but I have methods that I'm experimenting with myself. And if I find them to be beneficial, once I have succeeded in meeting certain goals, I will share what I did, because I don't like to gatekeep. I am generally a very open and honest person. I don't like to hide things in general, because I'm not a good liar, one. And two, if I'm working on something or I'm doing something and I see benefit in my own life, and I recognize that this could potentially benefit others, I like to share that kind of information so that other people can potentially benefit from it too. I'm not a selfish person, but I'm at a point right now where I do have to protect myself in the things that I'm working on. And with that, I have to be vague right now until I get some things off the ground. I am aligning my path with aspects of my own being in an effort to really follow my heart. That's one thing that I have said to a number of my clients is we are literally creating a new world. And I know that can sound very woo-woo and very crazy, but if you haven't been paying attention to the ways that a lot of things are dying off, I mean, Google right now how many closures of stores, how many companies are filing bankruptcy. I want you to look at ways that the old world has been very successful at building wealth up till this point, they are going by the wayside and they are not succeeding anymore. And in the next decade or so, things are going to change a lot. But one thing I know for sure is if you focus on being authentic, focus on pursuing things that are of interest to you in a genuine and sincere way, and focus on helping others and building community. These are likely to be the ways that you will be the most successful at, and it's not even just a matter of building wealth, but building yourself. This is information, and if any of my clients are watching this video, they can attest to that down below. I've said this a number of times. Yes, we have to do what we have to do to survive and get by each day. We absolutely do. And on that note, before I end this, please try your best to not judge people based on what they have to do to survive. As long as they're not hurting anybody, as long as they're, and when I say anybody, I'm not talking about corporations or, big businesses or things of that nature. I'm talking about the community. As long as they're not causing harm to their fellow human being. Try not to judge what people are choosing to do right now. Because things are very scary right now. Workday, and I mentioned this I think in another video, except I think I had the website incorrect. I think Workday was the correct one that a lot of employers are using to find talent, to fill jobs. It's rejected 1.1 billion applications, and there aren't that many people in the US. Now granted, Workday could be a global source, but there have been times when I've clicked on apply here and I've been rerouted to a Workday website to apply for a job. Do you know how hard it is to be like, I would love to submit my resume for this, but feel so discouraged at doing that, knowing that this site uses AI to automatically just reject people without even really looking at them as a human being. Sometimes all people really need is a chance. And they can surprise you. And when we become so reliant upon newer technologies to be a filter between us and our fellow human beings, we lose sight of that. So to the employers, please, I know it can be hard to filter through the noise, but as someone who has, in the past, gone through resumes one at a time to hire somebody, and I did this for my previous employer because we didn't have human resources, but I was literally looking to hire somebody to replace myself in the job that I was doing, in a job that there isn't a college degree for, or really training beyond on the job. Remember that even if you have to filter through a lot of noise, even if you have to take an hour and go through resumes. An hour each day. That hour is well spent. Because I know, as someone who did it myself, you get a feel for what candidates have potential to work in the role versus those that probably won't fit it too well when you take the time and don't rely on some computer code to do the filtering for you. The person I ultimately interviewed and hired, she was with me in that job until the last day, and she's still working for the company that bought it. So, take the time. And on that, I'm going to end this here. If you are like me and you are stressed about finances and how you're going to survive, all I can say is do your best. I posted in another video resources. There's Upstart. Harvard has credit-free courses that can help you. I was reminded of that the other day. Look for fields that are not being as severely impacted by AI, and let that be your guide for ways that you can help yourself in the meantime. Do the deliveries, do the freelancing. We'll get through this together. It's just going to take some time. All right? Bye for now.